Hello everybody, I'm back for another vlog update. Just letting you know I have a sore throat, so my voice will be quiet. Downtown is a dump. It literally looks like India or Africa. In the downtown I walked through, legitimately everybody's brown or black. There's like a few white people maybe. And everybody looks very unwell, like their eyes and their general countenance, you know what I mean? They look like suspicious, angry. It's hard to talk, my throat hurts, but they look like suspicious, angry, or just like straight up scared or something. But yeah, this is Canada. Ruined place, man. All by design though. Planned. So I was and in the university it's like all East Indians too. It's not all East Indians, but I would say it's like getting to be crazy numbers, like 40%. And they like walk around in groups and they speak Hindi really loud. They don't give a crap. You know, for them it's like all a joke or something. It's not a joke, but I don't even know. They're like just being played too, you know. But for them, they come from a place that's like worse, so it's better for them, even though it's getting worse here. And they're making it worse by coming in droves, but they don't care. It's a better deal for them. So it's all downhill, man. I don't like to be negative, but I also like to be realistic. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was hearing about MKULTRA. It's Jay Dyer was talking about it. I think a lot of people have heard about it, but I heard about it too, but I never really like learned a lot about it, except for that it was like CIA experiments done on the public and done on people with LSD and other stuff, and it was never really told what they did exactly and everything. But basically from what I learned, I would say it was a total success, and that's what's being done to us. It's basically mind control. And I was learning some different things about it, like from, which I found was interesting, because like I took a psychology degree. I did an undergraduate psychology degree. I did like the honors undergrad, took me 5 years. I got pretty decent grades too, especially in the last 2 years. Got a lot of A's and everything. And I worked pretty hard, like I really did. But they kind of brush over certain things, and now I'm learning about the MKUltra aspect. And it's funny how like the stuff they brush over and they kind of don't make very clear about like what was going on there. They kind of gloss over it, and then you find out that the connections with the MKUltra, these people were evil, bro. And a lot of the stuff that they teach you in the university is like basically straight up indoctrination stuff to get you to push it as well, and it comes out of MKUltra. So let me give you a couple examples. Positive psychology is a psyop, bro. I'm not even really joking. Like Martin Seligman, I remember hearing that name, and now I learned so much since then. I kind of knew a little bit at the time, but I learned so much since then about just like how sinister and nefarious this stuff really is, especially Jewish people. I'm not like trying to be mean here or whatever. I'm saying this like is factual, basically. It's not just individuals. It's like this stuff is coordinated and it's group related. And everyone's scared to say that. Not as much now, but dude, Seligman is Jewish. I didn't even realize that, but he's behind the positive psychology stuff, and he was working in conjunction with the CIA on Operation Phoenix, which it was torture during Vietnam. Torturing the Vietnamese was Operation Phoenix. Something like 80,000 of them, and they did different techniques and stuff. This was in the 70s, 60s and 70s, obviously, but they would use different techniques on them, and part of that was using psychological stuff because they were getting so into all this psychology stuff for the purpose of like literally trying to figure out if they could mind control people and whatnot. And I'm just telling you, bro, it succeeded. Like, that's what they're doing to all of us. And it's not, it's like, it's so awful. Seriously, it's so awful. And the tough part is because you feel like I always feel when I talk about this stuff that I can't say it or I shouldn't be saying it because people will just call me crazy or whatever. Dude, it's beyond that. It's like, that's literally like part of the whole deal is that it's to the point where like people barely can even think. That's kind of part of it too. Like that's why I just keep basically coming to the realization that we're screwed. Like, it's over. You know, but it was over before we were even born. That's why I'm not trying to make it like personal or really necessarily like try to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't really try and do that. And it's tough too because a lot of people actually do take a lot of things personally and try and be mean on purpose. But it's weird how we're all just like in the same boat and stuff is being done to us that is like really, you know, manipulating all of us. And we somehow forget that when we get one-on-one or in a group and somebody is mean to us, or we say something that upsets somebody, or they say something that upsets us, and it becomes a whole big thing. But I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what to make sense, how to make sense of all of it. It's just so much information as well. But I will continue and say that Abraham Maslow, he was part of MKUltra as well. Excuse me, which is kind of interesting or surprising because everybody knows Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like a pyramid, and at the top is self-actualization. And so when we see this stuff, and people, I think a lot of people really like pyramids, and they really like ladders and steps and whatever, and his makes a lot of sense if you look at it, but it's kind of when you get to those top stages, like self-actualization, it gets confusing. And actually, I think that's part of the PSYOP too, because it's part of like the whole self thing where everything's kind of like about the self, and it kind of pushes that sort of way of thinking that that's the goal, to be self-actualized. So I mean, a lot of this stuff is just intentional psyops, and it's crazy how much power it has and how it's like all throughout the universities. The university is really kind of like an indoctrination center too. I mean, it actually really is, but it's freaky. Like the schools and the university, they instead of having priests, they have like scientists, and their whole religion is like evolution, and the priest class is like, yeah, the scientists. So I mean, it's weird, honestly. It honestly is weird. But we all think that that's like the best place to go and such a good thing, because then we think, well, you go to university and you get a great job and all this and for success and everything. And granted, yeah, you can and should go to university for STEM. I'm just saying, like, a lot of the other stuff is just obviously garbage. I mean, that was my mistake that I went for psychology, but I think it was kind of like we always see the rosy side or think of the rosy side. But yeah, it's pretty tough, I guess, thinking back on it and everything. Um I wouldn't say like I really regret it, but I definitely think that there's better degrees. Like, I wouldn't steer anybody toward taking psychology. I think it's honestly, I think it's like 50% true, 50% garbage. But anyway, what they did use it for, and the stuff that truly does work, is all the mind control stuff, which is crazy. Um, because they don't do it just to be like, oh, we want to do this because we want to help people. They do it because they want to like control people and depopulate people. And that's not even a meme or anything. It's like, that's literally what we're living through. And it's working. But yeah, Jay Dyer was saying that Facebook, social media, is a feedback loop, and it's a mind control feedback loop. I wonder, I think like YouTube as well, like, I think everybody's fallen for the social media thing and people try and get out and whatever, but I've been using YouTube for like my whole life. Not my whole life, but since like probably 2007, 8, I've been using it. I started using it a lot, and then I made an account in like 2009, and I've been using it steady like ever since 2009. And I've spent so much time on YouTube, but it's, I think, like, literally this stuff is not good for us. I think everyone knows, but I just want to mention how strong the control is, because I have wanted to quit this stuff so much, and I've actually like smashed my phone on purpose one time, few years ago, 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, just so that I could be free of this stuff. But it's so tough because now I'm back, because it's like everybody else is on it too. I mean, and there's not much, like, it's hard when you go off of it, because your life is extremely boring and your brain just wants to be on this stuff, like social media, the internet. Like, it's really tough, and I get the urges to go back on like dating apps all the time, because it just feels like an easy thing, and my brain is just like, this is gonna work out, this is gonna be good. But then I always have to remind myself, like, no, it never really works. In the 10 years that I've tried dating apps on and off, it's like, I mean, it's really awful, 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 awful stuff. But I think a good thing to remember is just that some of this real stuff behind it is being done, and especially with the facts involved, because then it's not just like super kooky crazy. It's like, actually there's factual stuff where they say themselves that they were doing this, government documents and everything. But that really helps, I feel, although I feel like it's tough, because when you try and talk to people about this, although I don't really do that much, but a lot of times I feel like conversations just don't mean anything, talking to people, although I know they do. But it's just so weird, because it's like, it feels like you talk to people and then you just talk to them again, and it's like Groundhog Day or whatever. Like, it's like the same day, but you're like stuck in it. over and over. And the weird thing is, I think that's actually kind of going on, because what's going on is that everybody is being pushed along a plan that we didn't choose. but that, but that we're told that we're have so much choice and everything. But not really, because the plan is actually like that I'm talking about the actual plan, like the serious plan of what's going on for all of us, is that things are planned to get worse. They're planned to, it's like steps, like it's planned to get worse over time and through steps, because obviously that would not work if you just did it outright and you said, okay, everybody, we want to make everything worse, we want to depopulate you, we want to do all this. So it's like they just lie to us. And everybody falls for it. Because it's not just simple like that. It's not just simple, like simple lies or whatever. It's so complex, and they really like have outsmarted us, you know. It's not just like stupid people. It's like they figured this out, you know, during World War II and after, and then ever since, like they're doing these experiments, MKUltra and everything. But I would say that I'm psyoped for sure. Like I think like we all are. So it's kind of hard to say that somebody's not psyoped. Like it's a tough position to be in for anybody, because I think partly we're actually put in the position where we're supposed to feel smarter than we are. Like we're put in the position where we're supposed to be flooded with information, and it's just like we choose something, we feel like we choose something, and that is like kind of like a hyper rabbit hole trail, and it makes us feel smart as we go down it. But I think that's like, you know, I don't know how good that really is. Because people kind of make it seem like information is so good. But dude, it's endless. Like, that's part of it. They just churn out more garbage, more information, more content. You know? I don't think we need all of that. You know what I mean? It's kind of false dialectic stuff. Like, it's so brutal. It's so brutal to talk about. And by the way, I know it's weird I'm saying that and laughing, but I don't know how else to, like, I don't know how else to respond, you know? But yeah, I would say that it's weird with the MPD, DID stuff, and I wonder what they really did, and if they really did something to us, like at a mass scale, because that MPD is multiple personality disorder, and DID is dissociative identity disorder, and I mean that one, it really is like a kind of a fly trap for me, and it's a tricky one. Like I think about that one sometimes, and actually I wrote a whole big paper on this MPD DID stuff. You know, it used to be MPD when it first came out in like the 60s, and then they changed the name to dissociative identity disorder because a lot of people were self-diagnosing, or it spread, like it had a spreading effect because of the book Sybil, where this girl has MPD, and but they were also doing, but it's a real thing, but like, just to tell you a little bit about it, it's like, you can think about it like a protective mechanism that would happen when all else fails. So for a natural, or sorry, for like a healthy person, and it starts, by the way, it's always related to trauma, like severe trauma in childhood. And it's like, it happens to basically babies. Dissociation is where basically they kind of just leave their body during like an extreme traumatic event, and it can have the appearance, and also, by the way, the brain kind of will flood sometimes with like natural opioids or something. It just makes you feel good, but it's a protective thing. So it's like your mind, your consciousness, or your presence. It's like just kind of goes away. It's not really sure where it goes. It kind of, maybe it's still there, but it's, far off or something like that. But that will happen to like children or babies when they get traumatized, when something is too much for their regular system. Like, their regular system is like, they feel pain, they cry, and that is supposed to happen. The baby's supposed to cry, and the mother has like a natural response, or the caregiver, to go and nurse the baby or rock it or hold it or help it. And so the baby does that when it feels pain, when it feels not good, discomfort, and it happens up to a certain level. But beyond that level, it goes into dissociation. The brain floods with these chemicals, and it can look like the baby's all right, because the baby will just be there. It'll be like this. Like, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but in animals this happens, and it looks kind of like it's okay, but it's basically gone. And it will come back. I mean, it's kind of a natural thing, but you do that enough times, what happens to the brain is that it develops like a switch, almost. It's somewhat like a switch, and this is the stuff they would be studying in these experiments, is that the brain will just basically switch, and it literally does this in the brain circuits, where if you measure people's brains, they'll be lit up on like an EEG, an electroencephalogram. So certain regions of the brain light up during certain different mood states or whatever. If somebody's feeling love, you can actually see that parts of the brain are lit up. If somebody's depressed, you can see parts of the brain are offline. If, these different things are happening, these different states. Well, what happens in a DID or MPD person is that a trigger will happen. They call it a trigger. Something will happen that will basically just switch the brain to a different state. And the different state is not just, being like completely dissociated, but it'll switch to like a protective state. And that protective state will come out or appear to other people, as if that person literally switched personalities, as if that human being or whatever went from being like one person to a completely different person. Now, I'm sure this sounds kind of familiar to anybody who's watching, who may have experienced where they either watch on a video or see this in real life, where people just somewhat seem to like switch. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of like maybe like the same idea, is that people can basically get triggered and switch to like almost a different mood. We would just call it a mood in kind of like a regular natural form or whatever, you know. Someone has a tantrum or whatever, we'd say, oh, well, that person is kind of having a hissy fit or something like this. And but in an extreme form, yeah, it's the people will just kind of like basically switch between personalities, and you can have multiple, like, different ones. And that's, I think, you know, there's obviously, this is in movies and stuff. The movie Split is about the guy has 21 different personalities or something like that. And you basically you'll get some very general ones. Like, you'll get the playful one, that's exploring the world, and then you'll get like the protector, you know, that's supposed to protect the playful one, and you'll get like the strong, the confident one, that's like, you know, trying to be confident, but you'll get like these different versions or personalities. But the thing is, a good metaphor is that they're all one person, right? It's all the same brain, it's all the same person, but it's kind of like this for these traumatic reasons in early childhood. And you can think of it like a puzzle. And so I heard this metaphor and it made a lot of sense. It's like, well, a regular person who maybe goes through a traumatic event, it's like their whole brain, being, everything, it's like a puzzle that's basically mostly put together. And maybe now you've pulled some pieces out, and that's kind of like the traumatic event, and they can go through therapy to kind of like help to put those pieces back together and understand, you know, what happened, why that piece was moved away, and whatever. Somebody who's gone through extreme trauma in early childhood and has dissociative identity disorder, it's like if they were a puzzle that's put together as a baby, now you've put a bomb in the center, and boom, all the pieces are flung far away. So they're still a whole person, but now it's like they're over here, they're over there, they're over here, they're over there. It's all over the place. And this is a very horrible position to be in. Like it's not a good one. It's like a ton of pain, essentially. And if they could choose, you know, they would probably choose to not be in that position. But the weird thing that I'm wondering about is the DID, MPD stuff that they researched, because they researched this stuff in MKUltra and all these experiments and these evil psychologists and evil doctors. It was literally evil. Like, a lot of it was just crazy, like, hearing about it. One of the doctors that they had was a serial killer. I'm not making that up. That was doing this research. That's true. And I'm wondering, what did they figure out? Because basically in these experiments, from what I understand, is that they were trying to figure out like the individual or the small group consciousness and everything, and understand it and figure out how to control it so that they could control the collective consciousness. It's like, figure out the individual so that you can figure out the group. And dude, I'm telling, like, I feel like people don't believe me because nobody wants to realize that we're living in like basically this nightmare. And I'm not trying to drag people into it or anything. I'm just like trying to state facts. But I honestly wonder what they're doing to us, you know. It's crazy. But yeah. So anyways, moving on. You know, I'm isolated. I'm disenfranchised. I'm not even really sure what does that mean, but I'm alienated. I'm atomized. And the thing that I really dislike the most is that I can't pair bond, and I'm not blaming all this on like MK Ultra experiments or whatever, because I had my own hand in all this stuff too, because I slept around with so many different women, like 35 to 40 different women or something like that. I'm not bragging about that. I'm saying like that is a bad idea, because um, what ends up happening is you mess with your ability to pair bond. And I'm wondering if there's still hope, maybe, but um, so I had my own hand in it to, choose to do that stuff. But at the same time, like I had a very traumatic childhood, which is actually partly why I wonder about this MPD DID stuff. Um, you know, I don't like thinking about it, but sometimes I feel like I have like different personalities or whatever. But it's more that I just feel like it's hard to like show different parts of myself to people. Like it almost feels impossible. But I have been kind of making quite a bit of progress in that, to be honest. But I do think the having trouble pair bonding thing is the worst. Like that is the worst. Like not being able to make friends, not being able to pair bond with like a romantic partner, like a girlfriend or a wife. That sucks. Like that's the really like super hard. Just saying like, yeah, it's super difficult. But yeah, I wonder if there's still hope. I pray about this stuff, but yeah, I would just say that it's nice to kind of remember the reality that we're kind of all in this. I don't know if that's a nice thing actually, but I would say it's relieving somewhat, because rather than just putting everything on myself, which I kind of have done that a lot and tried to figure everything out by myself, which in a sense which is kind of good somewhat, because truly it's hard to I would say trust a lot of people, because it's like I have tried in the past to talk to people about like you know more serious topics and ask them questions and advice, and it's like they're all retards. I'm not trying to be really rude or anything, but then I realized, oh, there's a reason why everybody's retarded. It's because they're trying to make us all retarded, and by the way, it's working. Like, yeah. Not trying to be mean to people, but legit, that's the point. But yeah, the ultimate point though that they're doing is trying to depopulate us. So I would say it's a brutal nightmare reality that we live in. Yeah, and when I was going to school, it was like a zoo, and like I went to like a public school and everything, but yeah, it was totally like a zoo, and I went through so much bullying. Seriously, I literally got bullied like every day for multiple years, and that is horrible, but yeah, it was really difficult. Oh, it was awful. I did fight back at certain points, but sometimes it's like there's like literally it's like there's nothing you can do, because you get bullied by different like groups of people and everything. But I wasn't the only person who got bullied, but um it just goes on and on and on and on. And I missed a ton of school as well, because I literally did not want to go to school. Like it felt horrible. Going to school was like the worst thing ever. And yeah, but now I know like partly that it was designed to be like school is just designed to be like an indoctrination facility for evolution, and they hit us with a bunch of stuff that was just bullshit, like lies basically. Like the sex ed was just a depopulation thing to push birth control and everything like that. And the World War II stuff was just Jewish propaganda to basically say that there should never be any authoritarian personality ever again, because it's literally Hitler and all this stuff. But like, what a horrible school system, you know? But it's designed that way. And I would say, you know, there was good parts too. I'm not saying it was all bad. I would just say that it was a lot terrible and did a lot of damage to me and to a lot of people. But yeah, I mean, it was never designed for kind of what they make it seem like it is. And it's kind of tough because I think a lot of the teachers thought that they tried their hardest too. I think a lot of teachers had their hearts were in good place. But yeah, very difficult, very difficult. Yeah, I just recently I hung out with some friends, question mark. I don't know if they're friends, like I'm hesitant to say that they're friends, but I hung out with some guys from church recently, a couple days ago, and we hung out for quite a long time. It was after church. Me and someone else went over to someone's house, and we basically just talked for a long time. We watched part of a movie and stuff. But yeah, it was a long talk, and my energy was really drained at the end. And also, partly, I was snacking on chips when I was there because he was offering chips. And the carbs really got me. Like, I don't do that well on carbs. Like, I don't, you know. Carbohydrates, I can't really eat them that much. I do eat them, but I just, for some reason, I basically will like go kind of carb crazy, like more crazy. And obviously I don't like that, but I ate the chips, and so I kind of just learned again about it was just another reminder of what happens. And it was more to the end, so I feel like it was more to the end, but I felt so tired, and I feel so tired a lot of the time. And yeah, one other thing is that I learned that our DNA is a fractal antenna. I'm not making this up, you can look up the study. What that means is that our DNA in every person, it picks up frequencies and radio waves. And I had been interested in the EMF stuff, electromagnetic frequency, and I know it's like a crazy topic or whatever, but now I learned more about how it's actually serious, that it does affect us, EMF. Decreases dopamine and all this stuff. Certain frequencies increases your sympathetic response. And I'm pretty sure, like, I have a high suspicion that the MKUltra stuff was I heard it's true that they were researching EMF in MKUltra, but my suspicion is that they're using that on us. They were literally researching like stuff about using low frequencies to destroy parts of the monkey brain. Like, this is nuts, you know, but this is stuff that's true that they were doing. And now we have like all this like Wi-Fi, 5G, everything. It's like, dude, that stuff is not good for us. And people seem to not care, but it's like one of these things that is more of a silent thing that you don't notice, and it works on the group of people, so people don't even really realize that everybody's changing, including themselves. But yeah, I believe it's being used on us for sure. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, it's another day. But I'm thankful that I don't have a brutal job right now. I've worked brutal jobs in the past where you feel that feeling, but it's even more horrible because you have to go to work. And if it's like a Monday or a Tuesday, you're just like, oh, I just want it to be the weekend so I can literally just sleep all day or like do nothing or veg out because I'm so exhausted. And yeah, I've been there. I know it's so tough. Um, Especially when I was working at a factory, but also when I've worked quite a few other jobs. At the government job was so horrible as well. Oh, it's so tough. But I wish I could have like, and this is just kind of like wishful thinking, but I wish I could have um, the 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 life that I dreamed about when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to basically what I really liked was the idea of mastery. I really liked the idea of, you know, being competent at something, being really good at something, and living in a competent society, like living around other people that knew what they were doing. And this is something that I've always really craved, and I love this. And I don't see it as such a bad thing, but I think it's from just like reading books and sort of seeing probably certain adults and stuff, but just having an idea that there are these people that are so put together and they research and they learn how to do stuff, and you know, they have great penmanship and they're sending letters and they're writing documents, or they're you know, they're living a life that's sort of moving, and they're purposeful, and they're doing things, and they're in some way they just have like a mastery over things. And I kind of dreamed about that when I was a kid. And yeah, it's tough because that's not really my life. Like, you know, I'm 30, gonna be turning 31, so my life realistically is not like that at all, really. Um, but yeah, so I kind of have that very high bar, but I don't really think it's such a bad thing to have somewhat of a high bar. But I think that you have to recognize at the same time that it is a high bar for the current standard, which is extremely low. And then also all the other stuff that fits in as to why it is that we're all being destroyed, essentially. Because, you know, that's not really in the plan. It's not really in the plan to have a competent society type of thing. There's other evil entities that have different plans for us. For all of us, like, we just kind of fit into it. We didn't sign up for it, you know. But I didn't tell the guys I hung out with that I love you. Like, I love you, my brother. Have a good day. God be with you. I didn't say that. For some reason it was hard, but I did tell the old guy at church, I love you. I love you, my brother. Have a good day. God be with you. You know, he didn't say it back, which is fine, but I mean, it's kind of rough because he was talking about how he like is alone all the time and really likes his alone time because he just can be with God all day. And you know, I think people just don't want to admit that they feel bad or feel pain or whatever. And I kind of get why, you know. No one wants to be in those, like, put other people off or whatever, like start crying or whatever. But I did tell him that, and I think it's good, to to I think people need to hear that. Like, it's something I think people need to hear. But I didn't tell it to those guys, but I have said it to them before. And the other thing is, like, I don't, like, it's tough to say because you don't know. You, like, you don't want to make people feel weird. You don't want to be like, oh, that's gay or something. It's like, no, actually, that's like the highest good, is to love other people. You know what I mean? So, anyways, and also somebody has to set the example. Jesus said it for us, but somebody has to set the example. And I mean, I'm older, and like, I don't know, with men especially too. I'm not trying to be weird here, but with men especially too, everything is a competition, comparison type of thing. And we like being in each other's company, depending on the guy. Like, you don't want to be in company of someone who's really annoying or something like that, but I think it's important to sort of like steer things in a good direction, which is just literally just listening to the teachings of Jesus. That's a good direction. So, but anyway, yeah. For the old guy, I was kind of considering telling him that it's dust to dust. I mean, it's kind of weird because, like, if these old people don't know, like, I think they see, it seems like they should know that, but a lot of times it feels like somebody needs to tell them that, like, it's okay, you're gonna die. Me too. Like, everybody's gonna die. It's not the end of your soul if you repent, right? It's just the end of this created world, right? But God is uncreated, and He's outside of time. He's infinite. And the idea is, the hope that we have is that we go back and be with God. And it sounds scary, but if you're with God, it feels like it's complete. You're 100% complete. You could be with Him forever. And that's the idea. That's the goal. You want to be with Him forever. It's like pure happiness. It's pure, you can't even describe it, right? So it was a full moon tonight. I went on and looked at the moon, and I was sort of walking around trying to have like good posture, walk upright. My body's always in pain. I feel like I live like a very painful existence. I know a lot of people do. I'm not trying to like say mine is somehow special, that I'm in so much pain. I don't know why that's funny. I don't know why I laugh whenever I'm talking about like being in terrible pain. But yeah, I'm in pain like all day. I have a hard time reading. I don't like to like blame that on people or on anything, but I do have a suspicion that it's like I'm being turned into a retard more than I would normally be. Let's say if all of this other stuff wasn't being done to me and everybody else, right? But I actually like reading, but I have a hard time doing it now, and it's kind of frustrating. Like, I'm looking at a book, I'm looking at the words, I'm trying to read the Bible, and I'm just like reading the same lines over and over and over, and it's literally, I'll be doing that for like 20 minutes. I won't even move off a paragraph, and my brain is wandering. It's so difficult. And I've been through the whole ADHD thing. Apparently I have it. Apparently I've been diagnosed with it. Like, but I tried the stimulants, but I don't know. Like, when I was a kid, I used to be able to read a whole book in a day. I'm not exaggerating. A pretty thick one too. You know, medium-sized book. When I was like 12, I think. 11 or 12. I did that once. But now I have such a hard time reading just like one page. But yeah, so that's all.